Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is post-match Manchester United 4, Reading 0. I need to stop arguing with dicks on Twitter, don't I? Right, I've got a note here. I'm not sure what I'm going to say, apart from the fact that we need to talk about whether Wayne Rooney is a legend or not. Took his goal great today. Phenomenal achievement to draw level with Sir Bobby Charlton on 249 career goals for Manchester United. That I'm not going to take away from him because it's absolutely fantastic achievement and he fully deserves it. And if he breaks the record this week against Hull or weekend against Liverpool, then I will cheer every single goal of his like I have cheered every single goal of his. I don't know where this thing is that I hate Wayne Rooney. I don't fucking hate anyone who pulls on that shirt for Manchester United. And that includes Fellaini and that includes Ashley Young. I can sometimes question whether they should be playing games for Manchester United or if they're the right person to be playing games for Manchester United. And that's my entitlement as a fan. That's what fans do. We discuss football and we argue about who's right and who's wrong because we all know better than the manager, don't we? That is what football fans do. We all have an opinion and we all think we're fucking right with it. The dog's just knocking in the camera. Nice one. Do one. Wayne Rooney's legend status is the cause of almost as much debate as who should replace Carrick. In fact, you know what? No, it's probably 10 times the amount of who should replace Michael Carrick. And I didn't want to do a video just talking about Wayne Rooney's legendary status, whether he has got one or not. I would like to review the game. And I think we played excellent football today. Surprised me, actually, because I thought Reading was going to make it a lot more difficult. I thought Yapstam was going to come and just completely try and shut us out. But that didn't really happen, and that might have been because of the other goal, which Wayne Rooney got. It might have just been because the level in between the Premier League and the Championship was so much. It could have been a number of factors. It could have been that we took some of the chances that we've created. We've been creating 25, 30 chances for weeks now. Eventually, law of averages says that you're going to start actually putting some of them in the early part of the game. But I did expect that we could get to half-time and it'd be 0-0. And I thought we'd run out eventual 2-0 winners. Comfortable, but had to work for it, at least in the first half of the game. That didn't happen. Marcus Rashford and Martial in the first half was an absolute constant threat in behind the channels. And that's weird because Reading actually, in possession, you often see, especially with this Reading side, their fullbacks push up. They overlap like most teams have overlapping fullbacks. Their fullbacks stayed in not quite a back four, but they pushed on just a touch. They didn't even go halfway in between where the midfield was. And I noticed that quite a few times. You get like a real tactical view from where I sit in the Stretford end. You can see the whole pitch like it's a footy manager board laid out in front of you. And you can see a lot of patterns and shapes emerging. And more so than think from the side, especially when you're lower down. It's a real aerial view. We're really high up. It takes fucking forever to walk up them stairs where we are. And I noticed that they wasn't bombing on at all. And I thought that was to counteract us getting in the channels, but it did nothing to stop us getting into the channels. I thought we played some excellent football into those channels, and I thought we got behind them with ease. Marcus Rashford could have had 10 today and been chasing his own Wayne Rooney, Sir Bobby Charlton record breaking himself. If he stays for as long as Wayne Rooney has, I'm sure he's going to be in and around that sort of figure, without a shadow of a doubt. Martial as well. Martial was finding space on that left-hand side, cutting in and steaming at people, and that's the Martial that we love to see. Hopefully that's a real confidence boost for him. I think he could get another on Tuesday night against Hull if he's selected. He may be one that he rests. I actually think Jose would probably go with someone along the lines of Jesse Lingard, possibly even Rooney for the Liverpool game, for a little bit of fight and a little bit of desire, and I'd have no problem with that. I do think you should play Mkhitaryan though, so I think it might be Rooney and Mkhitaryan on the wings behind Zlatan, and if it is, I'd be bang up for that, because I think that Mkhitaryan is going to be the difference maker and he has to play against Liverpool come the weekend. Apart from that, I thought Marouane Fellaini looked mint. There was time after time that Marouane Fellaini was just pulling out skills out of nowhere, crashing tackles, surging forward, and like, who the fuck is that wearing Marouane Fellaini's shirt? There was one time where he surged into the box, overlapping Marcus Rashford, and you're like, I think you might have to just go and select him for a random drug test after this. It was a great performance from Marouane Fellaini. We was joking that he might have found his level playing against the Championship team, but fair play to Marouane Fellaini. This might be in one of his last few games for the club if he is going to be moved on to Milan. It was a good performance from him, so fair play to Marouane Fellaini. Romero keeps another clean sheet. The guy's quality. Keep saying it, but the guy is the best backup goalkeeper in the world, bar none. Nice to see Bastian Schweinsteiger coming on, as well as Timothy Fosu-Mensah. And you've not seen a reaction from a crowd like when Bastian Schweinsteiger comes on. It's like all of us, at the same time, have just come on for Manchester United. That's the feeling that you get when Bastian Schweinsteiger comes on. The whole crowd is singing Deutsche Fußballmeister. They're all on their feet. And it's the biggest cheer of the day when Schweinsteiger comes on. You think, how has this guy, who's played for us for one season, been taken to so fucking well by the crowd? It's madness. Can't explain it. Apart from that, what do we really have to talk about? Rojo going off injured. Seen a couple of people saying, does that mean that we need to go and sign Lindelof? No, I don't think it does. I don't think you should buy a player just because one's got injured, especially when we don't know the extent of the injury yet. And I think we've also got some fantastic youth players in backup. I said, great to see Timothy Fosu-Mensah getting a run out in midfield. Didn't really have time to do anything whatsoever in the game. But it's good to see that he's been featured. And maybe now that's him a step closer to getting a start. I think Hull, if not in the first leg, certainly in the second leg, if we can put the game to bed in the first leg, would be a great opportunity for him. And I hope he gets it, and I hope he takes it the way that the likes of Rashford and that have taken it so far. Right, so let's talk about Rooney then. I think to say whether Rooney is a legend or not, first of all, you have to define legend. And I think that's hard to define. And I think it's hard to quantify what a legend is. It's not like, it's not an MVQ. It's not a checkbox where you go, did he get that one? 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 Did he kiss the badge in front of the cop? Did he do that? It's not like a list of things that you need to do to be considered a legend. It's just a gut feeling when you look at a person and his career and you look at what they achieved. I used to say Manchester United had one legend. And I think each club should have one legend. Because I think that's what it should be. The legend should be the absolute pinnacle of what you can achieve with a club. And for me, look at what Bobby Charlton did. And I said it's not a checkbox, but just think of the feeling and the connection, right? So this is a young man that comes from the Northeast. He signs for us at 15 years of age, I think. Makes his debut as a teenager. Breaks into the, scores 2. Breaks into the first team. He's a Busby babe. Survives Munich. Goes on to captain the club. Wins a European Cup. Wins the Ballon d'Or. Wins a World Cup. Retires as the all-time leading goal scorer for England and the all-time leading goal scorer for Manchester United. That's a legend, right? No ifs, buts, doubts, maybes whatsoever. Gets a statue outside of East Stand. Bosh. Legend. No arguments. Okay. That was, for me, the only legend Manchester United have. That was what I used to say all the time. Bobby Charlton's the only legend. You should only have one legend. You shouldn't have 47 fucking legends. Those are icons of the clubs. Greats. Former players. Former player is a fine title to hold when it's a Manchester United. Former Manchester United player. That, to me, I look up to you instantly. Former Manchester United player. Fucking mint, mate. You lived everyone's dream. Top. Doesn't mean you're a legend. Legends should be the legendary. It should be unachievable almost. You should have to go through what Bobby Charlton went through to become a fucking legend. Or you should better what he's done. And even if you better what he's done, does he then like become like second-class legend? I don't know. It's arbitrary and it's subjective and it's whatever it means to everybody else. 8 and 9-year-old lads, he might be a legend to them. 15-year-old lads, it might be Ronaldo. I struggle to be able to name absolute guaranteed certified legends. And this is what I've been arguing with people on Twitter all night about. And I don't like arguing with people on Twitter. What I would say about Wayne Rooney, and what I do say about Wayne Rooney is, there is a question mark. And then some people lose their shit like, oh, there's no fucking question. No, there is a question mark. You know what I do with Full-Time Devils. You know that I talk to a lot of United fans. We speak to people outside the ground. We've done video after video asking that question. Is Wayne Rooney a Manchester United legend? We've never once even come close to a unanimous decision from everybody. It's been pretty much 50-50. Half the people that are going to the match say, yes, absolutely. And you can understand why. Half the people going to the match say, fuck no, not for me. And there might be multiple reasons for that. Some of them is the way that he's had absolutely no connection with the fans, not took to us in any way, shape or form, which he hasn't. He's an Everton fan, and he treats us like this is a job, and he's an Everton fan. He takes his boy to the Everton games. No, he's not a sort of... Bobby Charlton did what he did with the club, came back as an ambassador, and now watches home and away. He's a boy. He goes home and away with United. Can you see Wayne Rooney doing that? No, he's going to do that at Everton. And that's his prerogative. He gets to do that whatever he wants. No one's saying he's better or worse than anyone for doing that. But this is where the word legends comes in. You can't treat Manchester United like a job, because us fans would die to do what you're doing. And we take that to heart. For some people, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a legend because he gave more to the fans than anybody else. He obviously scored the winner against Bayern Munich and Barcelona in 1999, which helps. But the way you connect with the fans is a massive part of what the fans perceive you. It's not about statistics. It's not about checking boxes. It's a 100% gut feeling thing. And if you want to say Wayne Rooney's a legend, and if he's a legend to you, cool. But don't tell me that he's a legend to me, because he is not a legend to me. There is no connection between a lot of match-going fans and Wayne Rooney. And you can pull your fucking hair out and shake your head and argue all you want, but that is a fact. A lot of match-going fans, a lot of old-school, dyed-in-the-wool Reds, 60, 50, 40-odd-year-old Reds. Is Wayne Rooney a legend? No. Not even up for debate. No argument. Wayne Rooney, not a legend. That's what they'll say to you. I say what I always say. If there's a question, then it probably shouldn't be. A legend should be unanimous. Is Georgie Best a legend? Most people would say yes. And maybe the passage of time and the fact that he's passed away embellishes on that a little bit, and people go, of course he's a legend. Well, you have to remember that George Best actually let himself down, let his manager down, let his teammates down, let the fans down on a number of occasions. But is he a legend? He's got a statue outside his stand. Probably a legend. Won a Ballon d'Or, won a European Cup, was probably the best player in the world at some point. George Best probably a legend. The line that I saw on Twitter before, and I said, do you know what, I like that. If you're worthy of a statue, you're probably a legend. At Manchester United. Not Arsenal, where they throw a fucking statue up for anybody. I can't believe the way they treat Terry Henry there. He was there, what, 5-6 years? Bounced to Barcelona, comes back for a little bit. The guy treat him like he's never done a dirty dump in his life. At Manchester United, I want the highest of standards. And for me, Bobby Charlton is an ultimate legend. That's the achievement everyone else should be looking to aim. Cantona, for me, is my favourite footballer. I love the man. I'm going to go and stalk the shit out of him when he's in Manchester next month, just so I can get the chance to meet him and shake his hand. I don't consider Cantona a legend at Manchester United. He's a legend to me. But I don't think in the grand scheme of the club at Manchester United, he finished 4 seasons with us, 5 seasons with us. He got banned for 8 months in the middle of that. Or 6 months, whatever the fuck it was. What he did was unquestionable. He spurred us on to those 4 titles. He made me love the game. He grew the class of 92 from young boys into world-class talents that they became. But is he a legend? Did he play long enough at the club? He retired at the club. He retired at the top of the club when he was at his utmost. But is he a legend of the club? Is he more of a legend than Brian Robson? Because he won more? Anderson's got the same amount of cup medals as Cantona. They're not on the same playing field. Cantona didn't score an enormous amount of goals. Ruud van Nistelrooy's got twice the amount of goals as Cantona's got. Is he a legend? I don't think you can say for definite yes or no. And I don't say for definite whether Rooney is or not. I say there is a question mark. And this is what people get mixed up. There is a question mark. Whether you like the fact that there's a question mark or not, and to you it might be the biggest legend that you've ever seen. But there's undoubtedly a question mark. And if there's a question mark, then he probably shouldn't be. Wayne Rooney was one of the best footballers that I've seen at Old Trafford. Hands down. When you watch Wayne Rooney's highlights, if you look at them from 2004 to about 2009, 2010, and you look at the player in that encapsulation of his career, he was one of the most terrifying forces of nature. A joy to watch. An absolute joy to watch. I love watching him. He was nailed on to become a legend there. But he's drifted apart. It looks like it's a chore to him. And he's out there living everybody's dream. I've already said the 2 transfer requests, I kind of agree with them. I kind of agree with them. The first one, he questioned Manchester United's desire when we sold Ronaldo and signed Obertan and Valencia. Probably right to, in all honesty. Probably right to. That was the Glazers. And we all fucking hated them at the time as well. So he was probably right to question them. Where it becomes a bit murky is that if he'd have just said that, I think people would be cool with it. But when you say that, but there's also talk of, and I believe the talk, that Manchester City was prepared to offer him whatever to cross. Because at the time, City had just been bought out. They're throwing money around like it's about to go out of date. If they could have brought Wayne Rooney from Manchester United that would have signalled a shift in power in the Premier League, in Manchester and everything. Wayne Rooney knew by him fluttering his eyes at Manchester City, the board would have to act, and he gets a monster pay rise. Probably deserved pay rise when you encapsulate everything that's happened, but the circumstances that pay rise comes in leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in the mouth. Can't deny that. The second pay rise, I agree with him on this one to an extent. Sir Alex Ferguson wanted him out of the club. Now, whether he knew that he was on the decline, which he undoubtedly has, he is nowhere near the player that he was in 2010, 11 and even 12, and even actually the start of 2013 and Moyes' first season. He was probably... Do you know what? I remember doing a spreadsheet, and Rooney got the highest average match attendance across that season. De Gea won Player of the Year. Rooney was the best player across the stats. That was because he had a fantastic early part of the season, then dipped a little bit, and then De Gea had game after game after game at the back end of the season. But early part of the season, De Gea wasn't great. And people say, I hate Rooney. He was on the decline. Sir Alex Ferguson knew he was on the decline. He had other players lined up, Kagawa being one of them, to take his place. Fergie knew he was going out the door. And if you go and look at the interviews, post-match interviews with Fergie, where he never talk about players, never talk about transfers, anything like that. And he just comes out with it. So he's gone to that interview going, I'm going to say this about Wayne Rooney. It was pre-planned. Sir Alex Ferguson wanted Rooney out the door. And I do believe he was going to Chelsea. Do I blame Rooney for this? Not at all. Absolutely not at all. If you're in a workplace and your boss is being a dick, you want out of there. And it wasn't even Rooney wanting out of there, I don't think. I think it was, hey, you're getting fucking sold, mate, so sling it. I think that was how it went down with Sir Alex Ferguson and Wayne Rooney in the last 2-3 months of Fergie's reign. Fergie was trying to bring it all on himself. He's asked for a transfer. He probably had asked for a transfer because you wasn't playing him. And you was probably treating him like a dick in training to make him want to leave as well. He's asked for this. He wants to go. There's talks. All of the things that Sir Alex... I always say, don't listen to what managers are saying in press conferences and that. There's always an agenda. Well, sometimes the agenda is black and white right in front of your eyes. And Sir Alex Ferguson was trying to get Rooney out the door behind him. Moyes comes in. And I can't even blame Moyes for this either. And he thinks, I'll get the fans on side. They love Wayne Rooney. I'll make him the captain. I'll give him a big fat fucking pay rise. So I actually don't even have anything apart from giving City the eyes and what that would have represented. I think he was right to hand in a transfer request because we was lacking ambition. I think he was fucking 100% correct on that. And I think he was fine to be putting his transfer request in if the manager was being a prick with him. Now, Rooney comes out and says, I didn't put a transfer request in. Now, I think that's playing the game a little bit, right? I don't think he submitted an official transfer request on paper signed by Wayne Rooney, age fucking 28 and a half, right? I think there was just a conversation with the manager where he was like, if you're not going to fucking play me, I'm going to get on my toes. And the manager was like, cool, that was the whole plan all along. So I think Rooney's right and I think Fergie's right. But ultimately, I don't hold it against him. And a lot of people do hold both of those transfers against him. I'm not happy with the eyes, but he was right to say that United lacked ambition. Correct. But he only ever comes out and speaks in the press. And now this is where it goes a bit west. Because he only ever comes out and speaks in the press either when he's fucked up, like when he got caught drinking, or he gets knocked out in his own kitchen, which is just ludicrous because he was drinking. That's the only times that you hear from Wayne Rooney. You don't hear from Wayne Rooney when you're the club captain and you need a rousing bit of support going into the final few games of last season, let's say, and he don't come out and say, listen, fucking get on your feet, make Old Trafford a fucking cauldron of noise, lift the fucking roof off this place, and let's get 3 points and make sure we qualify for the Champions League. Nothing. He didn't say that going into the FA Cup final. There's nothing. I used to remember Roy Keane coming out all the time and saying shit like that. Rio Ferdinand would come out and say shit like that all the time. Gary Neville and even Fergie would come out in his programme notes and say, raise the fucking roof off this place. Like a fan. Wayne Rooney has never treated Manchester United like he actually loves us. He kissed the badge in front of the cop. I think that was more to piss them off than to please us. So there's a question mark. And when he inevitably breaks the record, which he's on course to do, everyone will call him a legend of the club. And I say, there's a question mark. And I'm not going to shout you down for you saying he is. If you think he is, cool. But don't tell me that he is. And tell me I'm wrong from my own belief. Legend should be a gut feeling. What represents Manchester United to you? Then that's a legend of that club. And like I said with Cantona, I love Cantona. And I'm not going to call Cantona a legend. I'd hesitate for calling Roy Keane the greatest captain that this club has ever seen, the epitome of Sir Alex Ferguson on the pitch, that would literally fight for us on the pitch. I'd hesitate to call him a legend. Some people would say everyone who's ever won a fucking Premier League with Manchester United should be a legend, but are they? They was asking me, 1999 team, who's a legend? I said, probably Giggs and Scholes. Probably Giggs and Scholes. And I like the statue analogy. If you're good enough for a statue, probably a legend. Right, cool, we've got 3 legends. And 2 managers that are legends. And I don't think anyone would argue with those. But I do think people would maybe say, Brian Robson. I think people who watched Brian Robson through the 80s would absolutely tell you Brian Robson's a legend of this club. Captain Marvel. The guy put his body on the line for Manchester United. That attitude is what you don't see with the last 5 years, Wayne Rooney. That last 5 years without the edge, Wayne Rooney doesn't look to do that sort of thing. Will we sing his name when he's gone? That might be another marker. Will we actually reflect on him and go, do you know what? Yeah, he is a legend. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out. I'm saying there's a question mark. And there is undoubtedly a question mark. Some will never forgive him for the transfer request. Some will never take to him because he's a Scouser. That's not an issue for me. Some of the biggest names at our club are not Mancunian. Maybe there's a guy that needs a statue in Nobby Stiles, World Cup and European Cup winner. How many of you will argue to the death that he's a legend? There's a Collier's born and bred Mancunian. World Cup winner, European Cup winner. Do you know how many of them there are? The Englishmen that have won a European Cup and a World Cup? 2. One of them's a Knight. One of them's plain old fucking Mr. Nobby. Is that right? The guy won a fucking World Cup and a European Cup. And then he was part of the coaching staff that raised the class of 92. Nobby Stiles is more fucking Manchester United than Wayne Rooney. But no one will fucking argue with you online that he is or he isn't. People don't give a fuck. It's a topic that's going to rumble on probably for the next 5 fucking years, in all honesty. Wayne Rooney was a great footballer. One of the best I've ever seen. I'll give him that. And I think the part that he's playing in the squad at the moment is great. We're probably not getting value for money from him. We're not getting value for money from Schweinsteiger either. One game out, or one fucking substitute appearance every couple of months for 250 bag a week. It's not really getting good value for money, is it? Not that we care. We spent 100 million on debt in the last 11 years. Sorry, $1 billion on debt. 100 million every single season on debt. I'd rather the lads who are entertaining us take it, in all honesty. Wayne Rooney and that's wages doesn't piss me off in the slightest at all, because the fact that we've got some youngsters on 300 grand a year is mind-blowing enough, let alone, you know, the club captain on 300k a week. Properly derailed this. I think we're going to have to call this Is Wayne Rooney a Legend, I don't know, rather than a match review. I'm doing a new show tomorrow. I'm going to trial it out. It's going to be a live show. It's going to be at 9 o'clock. And if you're going to a game tomorrow and you're not a United fan and you just happen to be watching this tonight or early tomorrow, please get me a video from the game and send it to me on Twitter. The show's going to be called The Football Special. And it's not a United show. It's a football show. And I'm going to be wrapping up the weekend. I'm going to give it a trial this weekend. I can't do it next weekend anyway because of the Liverpool game. Won't get back in time. So I'm going to do a one weekend trial tomorrow, 9 o'clock, live on YouTube. And we're going to talk about all of the games this week. I caught the Arsenal game in Preston earlier. I'm going to look at some of the highlights. And then hopefully I'll get a few videos sent to us from people that have been at matches. And we might make this a regular thing. So let's open the channel up to non-United fans. Still going to be a very heavily focused United channel, but I'm going to try and be a little bit more neutral when dealing with some of you guys on the football special. We're going to have people calling in. We'll do some good tweets. So if you see some good tweets, some funny memes and shit like that, please tag me in them, and I'll make a new list and save all those save all those tweets and stuff like that in there. Thank you for watching. We just cruised past 27k. At this rate, we are looking on for hitting 75,000 in 2017, which is awesome. There's going to be a rebrand starting Monday, Tuesday-ish of this channel as I start to move the podcast stuff onto the other channel. And there will be a slight restructuring of the programme. It'll just be pure football that's on here. And one of the changes is obviously going to be this football special show, hopefully on a Sunday. So hopefully you lot tune in. I figure 9 o'clock on a Sunday is a good time for it. Maybe 10 o'clock on a Sunday. What do you guys reckon? Is there a Match of the Day 2 on there? What's the best time for you guys for me to do that? Because obviously you are the fuckers that are going to be watching it. Get it in the comments. Is Wayne Rooney a United legend or not? Is there a list of legends? Should there be more than one? Is Cantona a legend? Is Keane? Is Gary Neville? If Gary is, why isn't Phil? What about Nicky Butt? Beckham? I'm going to end up going on another 10 minutes here if I don't stop, but Ronaldo is an interesting one. For me, one of the best players, if not the best player I've seen play in a United shirt with my own eyes. He's the only one that won a Ballon d'Or in my era. I think that stacks up. Not a United legend. Probably one of the top 5 players to ever play the game, without a shadow of a doubt. Him and Messi are right up there with the greatest of the greats of this game. You want smacking in the face if you don't say that they are. But he's a Real Madrid legend, and I don't think you can be a legend at 2 clubs. I don't think you should be a legend at 2 clubs. Great player for United. Icon. Love the guy. Enjoyed the fuck out of watching him, but he left. He'll be a Real Madrid legend. And a legend of the game. But for me, not a United legend. It's weird, isn't it? The term legend. I definitely think he gets thrown around far too fucking quickly. The same like world class does. World class should be what, 35, 40 players in the world. World class. World class. I mean, world class could really mean anyone who plays international football. Really, couldn't it? You are playing on the world level. You are world class. But I think world class has got a narrower definition than that. And I think legend should have an even narrower definition than that. Thank you for watching. This has been 25 minutes of me getting fucking high blood pressure. I'm thinking about arguing with pricks on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get 75k. Laters.